Hello and a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Neha Bharadwaj-Alter and this is Game On. This is where you get the latest from the world of sports, and we've got to begin with cricket because the series is beautifully poised at the moment between India and Australia. After a draw at the Gabba in Brisbane, the caravan has moved to Melbourne for the Boxing Day test in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. The Indian team reached Melbourne yesterday. Australia, of course, have dominated the proceedings for the majority of the third test. However, towards the end of day 4, the lower order by India, they put up a fight, and by the end of lunch on day 5, India had the upper hand. However, Reigns had some other plans as the match got abandoned and both teams had to settle for a draw. Despite a drawn game, India will take a lot of confidence heading into the fourth test match. India overall have had a mixed record at the MCG in test cricket. Out of the 14 test matches that they played there, India have won 4 matches, they've lost 8, and 2 matches have ended in a draw. Though, in the recent times, this venue has proven to be an exceptional venue for India with an impressive unbeaten record in test matches there for over the past 12 years. The last time India played in Melbourne was in December 2020. They registered an emphatic 8-wicket win under Ajinkya Rahane, who hit a brilliant 112 in the first innings. It is important to mention that MCG has different playing conditions in comparison to some of the other Australian venues like the Gabba or Perth. With less bounce than typically found in Australia, the pitch conditions play perfectly to India's strengths, giving them a significant advantage. So both teams will be eager to seize that advantage, with Australia looking to bounce back after a frustrating draw. And India will aim to win this match with an eye on the WTC final. Now, according to a report in The Guardian, Cricket Australia is advising fans to prepare themselves for hot weather at the MCG on Boxing Day, as the Bureau of Meteorology forecasts the temperature reaching 40 degrees Celsius in Melbourne on the first day of the fourth Border Gavaskar test. Now, Cricket Australia's chief of cricket, James Alsop, he has said that the forecasts had been changing, but that it is looking hot, and his organisation would ensure appropriate messaging is used in the coming days. Meanwhile, former India captain and a legend, Kapil Dev, says Rohit and company played badly in the last 2 test matches and they will have to lift their game. Listen in.
They have to apply themselves. I think they played very well first test and they played very bad second test. Third test also, they have a hiccups. They survived. Again, doesn't matter. There is another 2 test matches. You have to think positive. And what more positive you can take from this test match and go ahead. I think you have to think positive to go for the next test. Yes, they didn't play as well as we were thinking. We start thinking, expecting too much sometime. It's our fault also.
Unable to comprehend our Ashwin's sudden decision to retire from international cricket, a shocked World Cup winning skipper Kapil Dev says the premier off-spinner deserved a fitting farewell, ideally on home soil. Ashwin stunned one and all by calling it quits on Wednesday, right after the Brisbane test against Australia ended in a draw. As has been his wont, Ashwin chose to walk his own way while retiring in the middle of an important series. Kapil Dev said he would like to hear the Tamil Nadu man's side of story. Kapil felt that Ashwin seemed unhappy with something.
Ashwin, you said he's gone. I wish if I were there, I wouldn't have let him go like that. I would have sent him with lot of respect and happiness, because when you leave something, when you love something, it's very tough, and we have to respect those people.
Okay, Australia have made some big changes in their squad ahead of the Boxing Day test match. They've dumped Nathan McSweeney after 3 tests and rushed uncapped teenager Sam Constas into the squad for the Boxing Day test against India in the search or more runs from the top order. Makeshift opener McSweeney scored 72 runs from 212 deliveries at an average of 14.4 over 6 innings as Australia were thrashed in the series opener, won handsomely in the second test and drew the third in Brisbane this week. Costas has been scoring runs for fun in first-class cricket this season, including a century against an Indian selection team in the tour match in Canberra. He's just 19 and he also became the youngest player to score a half century in the Big Bash League this week on his debut in Australia's domestic T20 competition, making 56 from 27 balls for Sydney Thunder. Now, this is what was quoted in Australian media. The statement: Sam gets a call up to the test squad for the first time. His style of batting offers a point of difference and we look forward to watching his game develop further. This is George Bailey. He also added, we remain confident that Nathan has the ability and temperament to succeed at the test level in the future. It was a difficult decision to leave him out. Experienced wicketkeeper batter Josh Inglis and all-rounder Bo Webster, both uncapped, also remain in the squad as options to replace McSweeney in the opening partnership with Usman Khawaja if Australia decide not to field Costas. McSweeney was not the only top-order batter struggling for runs in the series, with Khawaja averaging 12.6, and it's also number 3 Marnus Labuschagne, who was averaging just 16 despite a half-century in the second test in Adelaide. It was said again that it has clearly been a challenge at the top of the order for batters throughout the series, and we want to provide the option of a different lineup for the next 2 matches. This is George Bailey, their chief selector. Jai Richardson and Sean Abbott are in the squad as cover for Josh Hazlewood, but Scott Pollard is expected to take the injured fast bowler's place in the pace attack in the 4th test as he did in the second. This is also George Bailey saying now about the absence of Josh Hazlewood. In the absence of Hazlewood, Jai provides further options in the fast bowling space. It has been pleasing to see his successful return throughout the early part of the domestic summer. The 4th test starts at Melbourne Cricket Ground on 26th of December, which is a Boxing Day, with the 5th and final match taking place in Sydney from 3rd of January. Australian cricket's domestic one-day cup was renamed the Dean Jones Trophy in the honour of Dean Jones, a pioneer of this 50-over game. Dean Jones, who died of a heart attack in India in 2020. He was 59 years old at that moment, was one of Australia's greatest ODI players. And this trophy was unveiled today at the MCG by Dean Jones's wife, Jane, and daughters Augusta and Phoebe. It features a silver bowl support by reliefs of Jones in his full flow at his swashbuckling one-day best. So there is a silver bowl in this trophy. The committee, led by Chair Peter King, assessed the credentials of 3 standout candidates. One was Dean Jones, the other Michael Bevan and Andrew Simons. And after a short list of that trio was created following fan votes, following a web and social media campaign to #NameTheCup, the extensive process then began with more than 10,000 fans voting to establish a short list of candidates. The committee viewed that Jones deserved the naming honour for his contribution to the game as a pioneer in the limited overs format that paved the way for future generations.
We've been working through a process over the last period of time to determine who the 50-over domestic one-day competition trophy is going to be named on behalf of. That process has involved engaging with tens of thousands of fans across Australian cricket. We were so pleased with how many fans had an opinion and wanted to provide some input on who that should be. It was then shortlisted down to 3 amazing cricketers across the 50-over format, those being Dean Jones, Michael Bevan, and Andrew Simons. From there, we then passed on the shortlist to our Hall of Fame subcommittee, which is chaired by Peter King, and they have come up with a recommendation which has been endorsed by the CA board. that the 50-over domestic one-day competition trophy will be named on behalf of Dean Jones and be known as the Dean Jones Trophy. It's great recognition for Dean and his outstanding career. The criteria that the committee were looking at was someone who was synonymous with the 50-over format, someone who had an amazing record representing Australia in 50-over cricket, and someone who also had an exemplary 50-over record in the domestic game as well. And Dean Jones, plus Michael and Andrew certainly ticked those boxes, but the committee determined that Dean Jones was the most appropriate candidate.
Thank you so much for nominating Dean and for appointing the Dean Jones Trophy to him. It's a great honour and a fabulous legacy. I would like to thank Cricket Australia, Cricket Victoria, and also the Australian Cricket Hall of Fame Committee for putting Dean up for this great honour. And of course, the biggest one, which Dean would love, is the cricket fans, and they voted for him, so he would be absolutely thrilled. I also like to, on behalf of the Jones family, thank Cricket Australia and Cricket Victoria for making us part of this trophy presentation and unveiling today.
We just wanted to say what a great honour this is for our dad. If anyone knew him, he very much was very opinionated about a lot of things, but he just wanted to be included and acknowledged, and I feel that this trophy has really done that for him today, and we take that with great pride.
Okay, on to football, and Tottenham Hotspur survived a furious Manchester United comeback to reach the League Cup semi-finals with a 4-3 home victory in what was a gripping match, but it was littered with bizarre errors on Thursday. Ange Postecoglou's side were cruising against a lackluster United with Dominic Solanke's double and a goal for Dejan Kulusevski, putting them 3-0 up after 54 minutes. But the home crowd were left chewing their fingernails as two terrible mistakes by their keeper Fraser Forster allowed substitutes Joshua Zirkzee and Amad Diallo to give United hope. There were still 20 minutes left when Diallo made it 2-3 and United were close to equalising on several occasions before Son Heung-min appeared to have sealed it in odd fashion, deceiving United keeper Altay Bayindir directly from a corner. There was still time for Johnny Evans to head a third for United in stoppage time, but a relieved Tottenham hung on to secure a two-legged semi-final against holders Liverpool. Arsenal faced Newcastle United in the other semi-final, and this is what the star of the night, Solanke, had to say. He said, and I quote, being 3-0 up, we could have dealt with the game better, killed some time, but we made it hard for ourselves. But the important thing is that we won and we are through. That's football. We stick together. Mistakes are a part of football, but we dug in, we showed spirit and got the job done. Postecoglou's side led a 2-0 lead, slipped to lose 4-3 at home to Chelsea in their last home game, and for a while it looked as though their innate ability to shoot themselves in the foot was coming back to bite them. This time, however, the fans went home happy, and Postecoglou moves a step closer in becoming good for his reputation for securing silverware in his second season at clubs and delivering a first cup for Spurs since they won the League Cup in 2008. Tottenham are at full stretch because of injuries, but still dominated Ruben Amorim's side, which showed 5 changes to the starting lineup that stunned Manchester City on Sunday, but still had no place for Marcus Rashford. Solanke put the hosts in front in the 15th minute when Bayindir fumbled a well-hit shot by Pedro Porro, and the striker fired in the rebound off the post. Bruno Fernandes had a couple of efforts, and a Rasmus Højlund volley went wide, but Tottenham were comfortable and in cruise control straight after the interval when Lisandro Martinez could only turn James Maddison cut back into the path of Kulusevski and made no mistakes. But Forster did compound his error, and it could have proved to be expensive for Tottenham, but in the end, they were the winners. Now, French football star Paul Pogba's brother is among 6 men sentenced to prison terms for between 3 and 8 years after being convicted of extortion attempts targeting Pogba. In 2022, Pogba said he was the subject of extortion attempts and threats from an organized gang, with his brother Matthias placed under formal investigation. Paul Pogba told the Paris prosecution office that he had been the target of extortion by childhood friends in March 2022 and had paid 100,000 euros to that group. Matthias received a 3-year prison sentence, 2 of which are suspended after he was found guilty of organized extortion and attempted extortion. He was also fined 20,000 euros. Among 5 others, Roshan got an 8-year sentence. Pogba is sentenced for 4 years with 2 years suspension, 3 years for Machikors, 4 years are suspended. Mamadou and Adama got sentenced of 5 years each, but 12 months was suspended from the former's jail term. All right, the International Olympic Committee will be looking for a new president. They've published the manifestos of 7 candidates to succeed Thomas Bach as president in March. British Olympic champion and the World Athletics president Sebastian Coe, who turned 68 this year, has pledged to embed transformative change over the next 4 years and then go for re-election ahead of the schedule. Incumbent Thomas Bach will complete his 12 years as International Olympic Committee president next month. 2 members from Bach's executive, one Antonio Samaran Jr. and Prince Faisal Hussain, have joined Coe in running for the office of the IOC chair.
But I did have a dream to get to an Olympic Games, and I was very lucky, privileged to enjoy my sport on that platform. So it was part of my training. And, you know, I don't over-engineer things. I'm sitting here because I started life as a relatively successful athlete, but the 10-year build-up to that was also a big learning curve for me. So, yeah, this is something I feel I've been in training for many, many years.
I think that in this moment in my life, I have the experience, both in the Olympic movement, in managing difficult situations, and in managing, together with Thomas most of the years, the development of the Olympic movement. I also have a managerial experience outside the Olympic movement and in finance, which is very much needed nowadays for what is coming. And I have a moment in my life that I've reached a moment in my life and an age that I can dedicate my time to the Olympic movement.
Sport is a necessity. It's not a luxury. It has to be part of the global world. We have a saying in Arabic, العقل السليم بالجسم السليم, which roughly translated was it the brilliant mind in a healthy body. And it has to, we need to look at that balance. So sports to me should be a necessity because of all that it does, all it can contribute, whether we're looking at health, whether we're looking in terms of development, whether we're looking at in terms of contribution, the unity that we get from it, the inclusion, the respect, all of those elements should be something we should be teaching our children. So what I would like to see as my legacy is that the recognition globally that sports is a necessity. It's not a luxury.
All right, this is the fight that everyone's been waiting for. Tyson Fury insisted, though, that there'd be no joking around ahead of his rematch with Alexander Usyk, as both heavyweights were subdued in what turned out to be a bizarre press conference on Thursday. Usyk beat Fury on a split decision in Saudi Arabia in May to become a 4-belt undisputed heavyweight champion, and the pair will meet once again. Now, this is going to be contested at the Kingdom Arena, the same venue on Saturday in Riyadh, with the WBC, WBO and WBA titles on the line. This is going to be a $190 million blockbuster between these two, this revenge match. And of course, boxing lovers are waiting for this. In the press conference before the bout, both fighters gave curt opening statements before engaging in tense and drawn-out face-off. Fury very outspoken, even by the standards of a sport that thrives on trash talking, was unusually quiet in the press conference. Fury's silence was the latest of a string of strange decisions in recent days, with the boxer not throwing a single punch during a public workout on Wednesday and reportedly banning his father from his corner for the bout. So, of course, it seems like they're trying to be quiet, they're trying to be silent before the fight, but this is something that everyone's been waiting for. 150 million pounds, that's the prize pool, and of course Usyk is anticipated to have received higher, or will receive higher percentage of this earnings, and betting agencies are having a good time trying to figure out who will win the fight.
Nothing to say, apart from there's going to be a whole lot of hurt and pain in this fight. You watch. That's all I got to say. Talking's been done. You know, the first fight, I talked, I joked, all my career. This time I'm serious. I'm going to do some here on Saturday night. Watch me go to work on this fucker.
Now this is just talk. Everything will happen on 21st of December inside the ring. Now it's a show with cameras on January 21st. Everything will be for real.
All right then, former WBC champion Fury has to defeat Usyk to arrange a third encounter. What will it be like? That's it then on this edition of Game On. Hope you enjoyed. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.